Men, welcome to the relaunch of REYL Talk. If you found your way here, you're probably feeling what I feel. Being a man today, harder, heavier, more confusing than it's ever been. The world is quick to tear men down, slow to build them up. We're told to play small, numb out, trade strength for discomfort, or lean into any number of distractions. Too many men are burning out in absolute silence. I believe the opposite is true. I believe men are called to stand taller, fight harder, love deeper, rise above the world's standards, be men of faith, discipline, integrity, but it doesn't happen by accident. It happens when we recommit every day you live. That's what REAL stands for. This podcast was born out of my own fire for men's health, but not just muscles and testosterone, the kind of health that lets you show up strong for your family, sharp in your work, unshaken in your purpose. Because when men lead with strength, the ripple effect changes everything: marriages, homes, communities, even nations. Here's what you can expect from us at REAL Talk. Every week, we'll sit down with men who have been through battles: Marines, police officers, veterans, fathers, coaches, entrepreneurs, men who show up in their community, men who carry scars, who have walked through the fire, found out ways to rise stronger. You'll hear their raw stories, their lessons, failures, breakthroughs, and we'll walk through the tools that kept all of us moving forward. We're not here for the surface talk. We're here for the real stuff: the brotherhood, health, discipline, and of course, purpose and faith. This isn't about perfection, but the progress. It's about recommitting every single day. If you're a man in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, maybe you're building a family, chasing your career, or trying to figure out how to stay strong in a world that's trying to weaken you, you are in the right place. My promise to you is simple. Every episode will leave you with something real, a story that hits home, a challenge that calls you higher, and a reminder that you are not alone in this fight. So let's do this. Let's recommit every day we live. Welcome to the brotherhood. Welcome to REAL Talk. Men, John here. Welcome to this first episode for a new season of REAL Talk. If you're here, you know it's not just another podcast. You know what REAL stands for: recommit every day you live. That's exactly what this movement is about: helping men rise above world standards, helping men recommit daily to their health, their faith, their families, and their mission. So today, I want to have a little bit of time to read some stats to you guys, also talk a little bit more as we dive into men's health. We talk about some of the things behind it. In future episodes, you guys will hear stories from some incredible men, their lessons, their breakthroughs, and everything else. Today, I want to dive a little bit deeper into men's health, the crisis that is men's health, and some of the biggest issues that men are facing today. So let's rock and roll and jump in. It can be a little bit heavy, but here's some truths about men's health today. First, we're going to cover low testosterone. Second, we'll dig a little bit into heart health. Third, metabolic health, in that order. So first, let's talk a little bit about low testosterone. Research shows that testosterone levels have dropped by about 1% every single year since the 1980s. Think about that. Our fathers had higher levels of testosterone naturally than we do today. Low testosterone is not just about the bedroom. It means less energy, more belly fat, lower muscle mass, depression, brain fog, even a higher risk of disease. So some studies connect low testosterone to an increased risk of diabetes, heart disease, and even premature death. So pause there real quick. I got a few notes on the teleprompter. We're going to chat off script for a second. It's important to know how relevant this is. Man, this is not just your drive in the bedroom. This is your drive for life. That tenacity to go out there and chase and get after stuff. And the reason I've seen this firsthand over the last 3 years. My wife has a functional wellness practice. She runs blood work. In the last 3 years, she has yet to have a man in his 20s have a higher level of testosterone than his father in his 50s or 60s. It is absolutely wild. Men are in crisis. I have talked to Division I football players that are figuring out, waking up to this reality of like, why, 6'5", solid muscle, all this great stuff going on, right? But my 200 to 300 level testosterone is absolutely mind-boggling. And they're trying these other things. And in that high level of performance, you're super restricted as to what you can take so that you don't compromise that scholarship, but you don't compromise that career at some of those higher levels, right? If you're not NSF certified, if the supplements or whatever it is that you're going to be ingesting or taking from a pre-workout to any other health routine is not going to be safe for you, you're going to risk everything else in the long run. It's important that you guys know a little bit more about this and what we can do naturally to help bump it up. So there's a few things that are super, super easy. If the sourcing is correct, that you guys can combine and put together that you're going to want. So you may or may not realize you'll hear some advertisements throughout this podcast. It is sponsored by REYL Supplements, creator, founder of that as well. So let's dig a little bit deeper because this is an area that I've done a lot of homework on, and I think guys need to know. We need a combination of a few different things if you're going to move the needle naturally from a supplement standpoint with your testosterone. I love combining that with lifestyle and some other things you can do as well. There's some old, amazing lifestyle hacks that you can do that will naturally boost your testosterone as well. We're talking about certain types of movement. We're talking about sledging a tire or chopping wood. Think about those natural, super intense, right, high intensity kinds of movements that are going to promote growth of testosterone. In addition to lifestyle, man, before we jump into supplements, let's talk sleep really quick. If you are not getting to bed by 10 p.m. your time, you are missing a 3-to-1 ratio for your growth hormone and all the other wonderful benefits that you need to be able to reset and calibrate your body every single evening. So if you think pushing it and burning the midnight oil is 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock, and then you're heading to bed, think you're going to wake up at 6, 7, even 5 o'clock, right, to start the gym and everything else, and you'll be able to go. That is an absolute recipe for burnout. Your adrenals will scream for help, and everything else will just get really just depleted. So super, super important. From the supplement aspect, there's a lot of great natural things out there. What I've done with REYL Supplements is really combined the best of everything so that we can have a unique offering that is safe for everybody, from the elite athlete, the professional Division I football player that we talked about recently, all the way up to and across the board, right? Like average father, dad, man moving forward in his career that wants to maintain and sustain that drive and feel good. So you need something to naturally boost the T levels. You need something to regulate if we're ramping up that hormone production, right? You need something to regulate to be able to tell that additional increase in hormone production where to go. And you need an extra, it's the best word for it, probably like an absorber, right? You need something to really maximize that absorption for what it is that you're using. So we've combined 3 specific products. That's what we do there. So without going into the thing, you guys can check out the site and lean into it. Everything's transparent and the ingredient deck is there. But we've got some amazing natural herbs and supplements. Then the fulvic is like the absorber and the enhancer, the amplifier. And then you've got your DIM, which is going to help regulate. So if you're ramping up a hormone production, guys, it's important to do all of the things. Like supplements aren't great just in and of themselves, right? I'm talking about your sleep. We're talking about lifestyle. We're talking about movement. You've got to take a look at how much processed foods that you're ingesting. You're going to continue to have an issue if you don't address that. It's important to look at all of it, man. So take the time, do the research. We also, fun fact about what makes REYL Supplements unique and what we wanted to do is we wanted to really help men make data-driven decisions. Remember that term. It's one we'll use a ton until you guys are sick of hearing it because it is that powerful. We want to help you make data-driven decisions. I see this actually trending right now. It's not in existence for us because it's trending, because very, very few people are combining the solutions, right? The research. Been a man for 41 years. I understand. I've battled the low testosterone, got it up to 800 naturally. Supplementation, movement, lifestyle adjustment, adjusting sleep patterns, and food and everything else. It is possible. It can be done. We've got other testimonies of men working through this and finding success with this as well. But it is not an isolated problem, right? It's a multifaceted problem, and you've got to look at all the different things that you need to be able to do as well. So men, encouraging you to start with a simple at-home testosterone saliva-based test kit. We have it up on the site, ships to your house, complete it at your home, send it back to the lab, get your results. You get a report on your results, and from there you'll know exactly where you're at. 3-4 months, run it again, and make sure, don't just take our word for it, right? This stuff was able to help you. Like, make sure that you're trending in a good direction. Everybody's body responds a little bit differently. Some people might need a little bit more of a specific part of that formula that I talked about, right? We've got Test Drive, our primary driver in that stack. Then we have the Fulvic, then we have the DIM. You might need to tweak that a little bit for yourself based on your size, based on your weight, how your body is absorbing and what it's able to put to work, what kind of damage you might have previously done to it. All those things are a factor, guys. So talked about some issues that are possible to show up as far as diseases and everything else. So let me read you guys a couple of more stats. We'll jump into heart disease and keep it rolling. Okay, we know when we lose our testosterone, we're talking about losing drive. Shows up in every part of our life, guys. Marriage, work, fatherhood. It's really the first fire that REYL is here to address, and that's one of the ways that we do it. That's why we've got this podcast for education and stories and amazing connection and brotherhood. This is just a passion of mine to connect people and learn from people that have gone through it and experienced some serious challenges, battles, and wrestled with that in their life. We've got stories of addiction, overcoming all kinds of challenges in life. So I'm loving these interviews and the ways that they're showing up for guys. So first one, testosterone. It's a biggie. Had to spend a significant number of minutes and amount of time on that one. Second, heart disease here. You guys, I am sure, know somebody, just like we all do, know somebody that's had some cancer issues or something related to cancer, know about heart disease. It's the second one we're going to talk about, but it is still the number one killer for men in America. And when I'm talking about the number one killer, I'm talking about across all races, all ethnicities, all cultures, and all age groups. It is the number one killer for us as men. So if we're not taking care of the heart, guess what happens? It's not going to be there to take care of us. It's just like, yeah, peace out. Thanks for that. I'm moving on. Over 350,000 men die of heart disease every year. That's 1 in every 4 male deaths are related to heart disease. Quick fact for you. The kicker is most of it is completely preventable. Most of it is related to what we've already talked about. Diet, lifestyle, right? Your movement habits, sleep, stress management. It's scary really to think how early this risk shows up. So quick reference to a study. It's showing up in men, even in their 30s and 40s, are developing high blood pressure, clogged arteries, and then early warning signs. So they're ignoring it because in these early ages, we can still kind of go along with that wonderful word, like, I feel fine. I'm fine. I don't need to go to the doctor. Guys, we're telling you that it's important to make yourself a priority so that you can freaking be there for your families and the people and the mission that you say is important to you. It's important. What we did in REYL to be able to address this is called the Pulse Stack. It exists inside the REYL line. It's got the most important things in there related to heart, so like protection, omegas, right? You need the lubricators, you need things to be able to stay moving, right? We're talking about pumping stuff. We know that we take care of our car. We know what would happen if we don't change the oil. We know what would happen if we don't keep up on the things that are necessary to pump and drive things, right? And you've got pistons firing and all the other mechanisms that need to function in an engine. We don't think the same way about our heart, but it is beating when you're sleeping. It is beating when you're awake. It is beating even more intensely on a walk, a hike, a good exercise routine. It's there for you all the time. So it's important to spend the time, especially men, if you've got genetic issues, family history of this showing up, really, really important to take a look at and spend some time educating yourself on why this is the single biggest killer for us as men. So I'll let you guys take a peek on the website and look at other things without going into too much detail on that. But similar thing, similar story. Amazing supplements, clinically dosed, doctor formulated, right, that are going to help move the needle in the area where you need it most as far as heart protection, heart health, and kind of maintaining good flow when things are pumping. Okay, third, let's jump into metabolic health. The third crisis, we're talking about metabolism. And it's kind of a broad word, but right now 9 out of 10 American adults are metabolically unhealthy. And the cool stats that are coming out about this, the cool research is like they're starting to link metabolic health with longevity. So it's important that we pay attention to it. It's high blood sugar, yes. It is high triglycerides, or can be high triglycerides, higher waist circumference, so just that stubborn belly fat. It's also issues with insulin resistance. So what this is saying, 9 out of 10 American adults are metabolically unhealthy. Like basically none of us are metabolically fit. But if we're tying that to longevity, we're riding roller coasters all day long. More sugar in our food, more processed foods. And what it's doing is it's causing these very aggressive peaks and valleys in our health. And what that's doing to our blood sugar over and over again, right? Day after day, month after month, year after year. It's causing a pattern, an unhealthy pattern of where we see 9 out of 10 American adults are not metabolically healthy. So super, super big reason for this. We saw a while back, a couple more stats just to reference here. So forgive me, I jumped back and forth between just chatting with you guys and reading a few things. Number of years back, we saw the dad bod epidemic. If you are a guy that's experiencing more and more fatigue and you don't know where it's coming from, it's highly possible that you could be having an issue with this irregularity, right, in your insulin and your high blood pressure, your blood sugar spiking and declining in different ways at different times. If you've been jumping from diet to diet and tried intermittent fasting and then this and then a high protein and a low protein and a vegan and a meat and a carnivore, like there's so much information out there, right? That is all affecting your blood sugar. It's all affecting your metabolic health. So we have a lot of guys, 30s and 40s, already showing up, pre-diabetic types of symptoms, already getting diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. The CDC reported that 1 in 3 men in this age group, their 30s and 40s, are either diabetic or pre-diabetic. So guys, metabolic dysfunction is not really about, it's not just about the weight, I should say, but it wrecks your energy, it wrecks your hormones, it wrecks your sleep, it wrecks fertility and long-term health, like we mentioned, longevity. So super, super important to take time, do the research, and pay attention to. Same thing. The level stack is what we put together in REYL to attack and solve these problems. What we wanted to do in coming out with these lines for REYL supplements is really to address the biggest challenges that men are facing today. They've been consistent problems, but they've gotten to the point that we can no longer ignore them. So the drive stack for testosterone boosting and health, the pulse stack for your heart health, the level stack for your metabolic health. Those three, there will be some other cool stuff that we're already in the works with and developing, but all three, I'll say unanimously across the board, right? Doctor formulated, clinically dosed, right? The right amounts, they're going to move the needle and really support you guys in great ways. That's why I'm mentioning that, right? The level stack specifically, if you look at the blood sugar support, most of them are going to include 3 products. All 3 of these stacks do. I can't say that every stack that we release will have 3 products in it, but these 3 do. Each of these stacks have 3 products. So in the level stack, the blood sugar support, that's a confusing word, specifically has over 550 milligrams of berberine, not to mention a number of other things in there to help you. If you know you're going to have a high carb meal, if you know you're going to have that dessert around the holiday season, you've got the berberine to help regulate so you start to look like a gentle wave in a rolling bay line, a shoreline, instead of these aggressive peaks and valleys with your blood sugar and these spikes and everything else. You're going to use a product like blood sugar support that's going to help you in those times. Or if it's a regular thing for you and you know you're eating food that has too much sugar in it, you can't get away from it for a minute, you absolutely need it. You also have things in there like magnesium and some other great things that are going to help kind of reduce, stabilize, help you manage everything else as you move through. So bottom line, key takeaways for this first episode here, talking a little bit more about the crisis in men's health. Testosterone is tanking. Hearts are failing. Metabolism is breaking down. That's your happy news for the day. Like, that's the reality of where we are as men in the health crisis right now. The hope is it's not permanent. The hope is that we can do something about it because the vast majority of this is super preventable. It's why REYL Supplements was created. It's why it exists. It's why things are at a clinical level, right? Doctor formulated, but also clinically dosed. Super, super important. So we got to get the stacks into the hands of men that are having these issues, and it's a lot of us out there. I'm loving the Drive and the Pulse. I have a couple of other things that I work in, like the electrolyte blend and stuff like that, for days that I have a little bit more intense workout, working outside, doing a little bit more. I know I'm going to be sweating more. So guys, more than the supplements, this is a movement. Get educated, wake up, become aware on what it is that your body needs about your health. Do that through lab testing. We have a number of different things and offerings on our website. Easiest place to start is just that simple saliva test for testosterone. If you need a little bit more, you'll see the other options on there as well. If you don't even know what that looks like or have a question, guys, reach out. We got our email, we got our phone number on there. This is open and available. And I want you guys to be well educated when you make an informed decision. This is for guys that really, really call for the right information and then move forward. I know you guys are men of action. I also know that you're men of deep integrity, and trust is really, really important to you. This has taken 8 months, a labor of love. Over the last 5 years, the passion has been evolving for what we've done with the podcast. We've done a retreat at one point. We've done some phenomenal things to connect other men. It kind of started as a mental health movement, and it has evolved into a movement for men to wake up, become aware, become accountable, and get into action for their health as well. So I would say the 3 things we hit on here with REYL Talk, with REYL supplements, with everything that we're doing with REYL is all of it, right? It's your mental, it's your emotional, and it's your physical health. All 3 of those, they are absolutely critical to the way that we show up as men for each other, for our spouses, our families, everybody that needs us. So answer the call, man. This is me ringing you up. Stop coasting, start recommitting every single day. The truth is that nobody's coming to save us. We have to show up for our own health, our own legacy. So my hope is that this podcast, these stories of men who have lived through the battles, will continue to support you guys. Tune in. This is just the beginning, in October, former Marine, retired police officer, and we've got an incredible high school coach that does a ton in his community to give back. We also have a couple of stories mixed in there. I won't tell you who or which ones, about these guys overcoming some of their battles with alcohol, some serious addictions, and their passions for health in general as well. An awesome doctor, chiropractor on the podcast as well, and an amazing lineup of people that are going to be coming and rolling out in November. So super excited. I love bringing my passion for communicating and having these engaging conversations with people to you guys. I hope you get some great value out of this. I'll drop some links in the show notes for anything that you guys want to look up, research, check out. And I look forward to supporting you guys in all the ways. Keep it real. We'll chat soon.